Sometimes I feel like a mother's
I've never met a slave who could tell me how old he was. Pure slave mothers not knowing the month of the year nor the days
like
of the month. They measure their age by winter time, springtime, planting time, harvest time. Like most slaves, I cannot tell you how old I am. My master allowed no questions to be put to him, by which a slave could know his age. My American friends looked at me with astonishment. A wood sawyer, offering himself as an editor, willing to instruct the highly civilized people of the North on liberty, equality, and justice. Nevertheless, I persevered. I persevered. America cannot always sit as queen of peace and repose. Prouder and stronger governments than hers has been shattered by the bolts of a just God. We are here, and here we are likely to be. To think that we would ever be eradicated is absurd and ridiculous. Therefore, I repeat, we are here, and this is our country. This is our country. My name is Frederick Douglass. I was born February the 14th, 1817. My birth-given name was Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. My mother, whom I only knew for a short while, was a slave. And my father, whom I never met, was a white man. You see, to me, my mother was a mystery, and my father was certainly a myth. I'll start by saying that we create our present from the influences of our past. And our past has been created, and it can never, nor will it ever, never be erased. The wife of the man who claimed he owned me, Mrs. Hugh All, that is, taught me how to read. You see, I was at the age of 7 years old at the time, and in this country, these United States of America, there were laws that were quite clear, that provided that you were the color of my skin, you were forbidden to read. You were forbidden to do anything. Mrs. Hugh All and I were sitting in the room at this point in time. I recall this quite vividly. Mr. Hugh All, my master, had learned his wife was teaching me. He walked into the room where we were and slammed the door behind himself and walked over to us. And as he stood over top of us, he shouted out, "Don't you ever teach them how to read! Don't you ever teach them how to read," he said. "Once you teach them how to read, they're free. Don't you ever teach them how to read. Not in my house, he said. They're no good to themselves, and certainly not to us. Don't you ever teach them how to read. Not in my house, he said. Well, I might as well tell you is she certainly did stop teaching me how to read. But by the time she did, I had already learned enough to continue to teach myself. Keep this in mind, that no one can ever keep you in the dark when you know how to read. No one. No one. No one. I'm proud to say that I've met and worked with some very interesting people in my life. Sojourner Truth, William Lloyd Garrison, John Brown, the abolitionist, General Ulysses S. Grant, and God bless her, Miss Harriet Tubman. I might add that I was the advisor to President Abraham Lincoln in getting our men to fight for our freedom. You see, I think the American people are disposed to be generous rather than just. I look all over this country at this present time, and I see educational societies, sanitary commissions, freedmen's associations, and the like. All very good, but in regards to the colored people, there is always more that is benevolent, I perceive, than just manifested before us. What I ask for the Negro is not benevolence, not pity, not sympathy, but simple justice. Simple justice. Everyone is asking the question. And they learn to ask it early of the abolitionists. What shall we do with the Negro? What shall we do with the Negro? I have but one answer from the beginning. Do nothing with us. If the apples do not remain on the tree of their own strength, if they are worm-eaten at the core, if they are early ripe and disposed to fall, let them fall. I'm not tying or fastening them to the tree in any way except by nature's plan, of course. But if they will not stay there, let them fall. And if the Negro cannot or will not stand on his own legs, let him fall also. Let him fall. I'm going to tell you about a Negro soldier whom I met during the Civil War. And these were his words to his men. Noble brethren, he said, swear anew, never ever to cease fighting, and whenever called to measure arms or bayonets, give no quarters, take no prisoners, for they will respect your manhood. Remember that we fight for our freedom. Our freedom. Remember our wives and our children. Remember the old gray-haired mothers who are yet behind the lines of rebellion. Remember for 250 years, our people have been sold and bartered like so many beasts, and then bowed down for a country's cause, a cause called universal liberty. that we create our present from the influences of our past. And our past has been created. And it can never, nor will it ever, never, ever be erased.